GMED and welcome everyone to the LP Army LP Basics class. This class is intended for people who are not quite familiar with a lot of things with crypto. These are things that you need to understand before you really get into providing liquidity or starting to learn how to be providing liquidity. You should know how to do a swap, but generally, we're going to walk you through a lot of the important things that you're going to need to know in order to get started. These are key terms and key concepts that are absolutely essential for you to know. We will cover the difference between coins and tokens, key terms, what they mean, different types of exchanges, and how that works. What happens whenever you do a swap or perform an action with the blockchain, and the basics of how liquidity pools work. So, coins and tokens, a lot of times these things are used interchangeably, but knowing the difference may help you understand a few things. A coin is a native asset on a blockchain. The transaction fees that are used for that are always paid in that token, in that coin. Um, they're like a store of value, and they're very hard to create. They take a lot of work. Not just anybody can create one of these. It's like along with the blockchain itself. And in liquidity providing, it quite frequently it's used as the quote token, or the token in which the coin in which the other token is priced against. Examples are Sol for Solana, or BTC for Bitcoin, ETH for Ethereum, AVAX for Avalanche, and so on. Now, a token is something that's created on an existing blockchain itself. They're quite frequently very easy to create. Just about anybody can create one, and they can have a lot of different purposes. They can serve as governance tokens, like maybe you have to hold this token to vote with a certain community. It may have some other type of utility that allows you to do something within a product. Um, it may be a type of security. It could be nothing at all, just like meme coins and that sort of thing. Uh, your stable coins, such as USDC, USDT, these are pegged to a dollar in value, but technically they are a token because they are not running their own blockchain. And we're also seeing a new thing, RWAs, or real world assets, a physical item that's been tokenized on the chain. This is a type of token. Some key terms to know: market makers. And market maker can have many definitions, but whenever it comes to this, generally what it means is perhaps someone like you. Someone who is providing liquidity in exchange for small amounts of fees that you earn off of these trades. And that's really what we're focusing on in decentralized finance, is those liquidity providers. You are a market maker. You will frequently hear the word LP used, and it has multiple meanings. It could be the liquidity provider, that's you, or another liquidity provider. It can refer to a pool itself, the liquidity pool or pools. And it's also used as a verb, like I'm LPing, I'm providing liquidity, I'm an LPer. So you'll understand the context when it's used. Now, there's two different types of exchanges, and these are the places where people are going to trade tokens. The first is a centralized exchange. It's also called a CEX. It's usually run by a singular entity, and they have control over your wallet. You may have to provide, your identification, all these things. They can freeze your wallet if they want to. I mean, you have control over it, and other people don't, but they also have control. They are subject to government regulations with banks and all of these things. They have to follow certain laws. They don't really run off of a liquidity pool. It's basically just a database, and they have these order books, makers and takers. That's the buyers and sellers. It's not done on the actual blockchains itself, and so therefore, like, you're not paying fees necessarily in the exact same way, and they just charge their own fees, whatever they want to charge. Now, one of the advantages, there can be massive trading volume on these, and they are picking the tokens and coins that they want to make available on their exchange. So not just anything and everything will be on there. So there's advantage and disadvantage. If there was something that you wanted to trade and you wanted to do it on a centralized exchange, but they don't list it, well, then you can't trade it there. But things that are generally there tend to be a bit safer, as far as, maybe it's not a scam. Examples are like Coinbase, Kraken, Binance, Bybit, KuCoin, and there's plenty of others out there. The next type is the decentralized exchange, or a DEX. It's not necessarily operated by a singular entity. There's not a government regulation on it quite so much. You are responsible entirely for your own wallet. You have control over it. It can be anonymous. And these are what operate the automated market makers, or the liquidity pools out there. It runs entirely on these blockchains. And the fees for this, they can be lower. It can be variable. It all depends on a lot of different factors, which we talk about in another course. And they are permissionless generally. Any token can be listed. So this is a good thing and a bad thing. It means that if it exists, you could probably find it there. But it also means that it opens it up to bad actors. So you do have to learn safety and know how to be safe on there. And it is something that anybody and everybody can participate in. Some examples, obviously, are Meteora, Raydium, Orca, Uniswap, PancakeSwap, Trader Joe, and many, many others out there. Now, when you are working with DeFi, you have to have your own separate wallet. There's a ton of choices out there. You can be very anonymous with this, because then it's just a string of numbers. That's it. There's not like your name, Bob Smith, attached to your actual wallet. And it's only controlled by you unless you give someone access. Not recommended. And now anybody can, if they see your wallet, there is the public key or public address. Anybody can see what's tokens you hold or the activities that you do. But it's not like it's just like a big listing. You are anonymous up to a point, but anybody, it's all on chain, and anybody can go and look if they'd like. Now, you have a private key with this wallet. This is what grants access to the wallet to be able to move money out of the wallet. It's a long alphanumeric string. You don't want to share that with anybody. You keep that secret. You keep that safe, written down somewhere. There's also the key phrase, and it's kind of like the same thing, but it's usually 12 or 24 just words, regular words, that grants the same access to the wallet. There's plenty out there. A few examples that we show here. There's Jupiter, Soulflare, Backpack, Phantom, and there's many others on the Solana blockchain that are available. Basically, you pick the one that you like and use what you like. Now, when you are on the blockchain and you want to do a trade, usually you don't go and do the trade with the decentralized exchange itself. Frequently within a wallet or something like that, you are going to interact with a DEX aggregator. And what that is that's a system that's going out there and finding the best price for your trade. It's aggregating prices from multiple sources. So it could be looking at multiple liquidity pools all across the market. It aggregates that and it tries to find the best price for you, the trader. And so that's how it works. Jupiter is one of the best known examples on Solana as a DEX aggregator. And they actually have their own classes and courses at academy.jupe.ag if you would like to learn more, or if there's something that maybe we don't cover in this course that you'd like to know, they may have that over there. We'll talk about more of that later in the course. But you can access that anytime at academy.jupe.ag. Okay, so now we talk about what happens whenever we doing a swap itself and how things are written to the blockchain. And that requires something called a validator. And they really are the backbone of any blockchain. They process these transactions, whether it's a buy or a sell or an interaction with some DeFi application. And they use a consensus method to verify the validity of this transaction. They create these blocks on the blockchain, and that's what provides the history of all the transactions, and they can read this. In order to be a validator, to operate as one, they have to deposit very large amounts of SOL. It's like a collateral, so that it helps ensure that they operate fairly and honestly. If they produce bad blocks, bad data on the blockchain, they can be slashed or have some of that SOL taken away from them. Many of them will produce a liquid staking token, which allows an individual to, in a way, participate in that because they're getting paid rewards for creating good blocks on the blockchain. That's how they're making money. That's why anybody does it. You can help participate in those rewards by maybe buying one of their liquid staking tokens. You stake it with them. It's liquid because that token is in your wallet and you can trade and do whatever with that. And it goes up in value over time based off of these validated rewards. So whenever you do a transaction, there's a certain path. You've got the transaction, it gets initiated, and it goes to an RPC node. Okay, so remote procedure call, it's that bridge between you and the blockchain itself. That's what's reading the data from the chain, and it sends the data to the chain itself. There's many out there. Main ones that Meteor uses are Triton and Helios, but you can even purchase your own, pay for your own RPC node if that's something that you need. Most people don't need this, but it's something that you could do if you wanted. From the RPC, it goes to the validators, which we talked about a lot already. They work in a consensus, and the more SOL that they have staked, the more transactions that they get to process, and so on and so forth. And again, then they'll write that directly to the blockchain. And so you submit something, it goes through here, and once it lands on the blockchain, then it's finalized and it's written, and the RPC reports back to you the result of that transaction. So market makers, we talked about this earlier. The AMM is the automated market maker that you find, the most basic original type that you'll find in DeFi. And so that's where you are providing assets to these liquidity pools, and it's in something called a smart contract. I don't want to get too technical with this. The pricing is automated. A simple formula of X times Y equals K, the constant product. You trade this token for that token. So these tokens come in, those tokens go out. And in order for the constant to stay the same, the price has to change. So that's how that works. It's not concentrated. The liquidity is spread out from basically 0 to infinity. And this is just like what it looks like, very basic. These tokens, they come into the pool, it's got the reserve, users, traders, they swap with that, they pay a fee for that. You get part of that fee in return for providing that liquidity. Now, there's concentrated liquidity, frequently called a CLMM or Meteor's DLMM, concentrated liquidity market maker or dynamic liquidity market maker. It's far more complicated formulas because they're depositing liquidity into bins or ticks. And it can be, in the case of the DLMM, different shapes. So that gets very complicated. But what you really need to take away from this is that it's using specific price ranges to focus liquidity. What that's about is capital efficiency. Instead of having your liquidity spread out across an infinite range, you're able to focus it where the price action is happening. It's still one token traded for the other, and you're getting fees on that. But one thing that can happen here is, because it's contracted and it's with only a certain range, if the price moves beyond your range, all of one token is going to be swapped for the other. Okay. And this could be a good thing or a bad thing, depending on the direction that the price moved and what you want. But it allows for a higher fee generation. It can make you more profitable as the liquidity provider. Some more very important key terms here: TVL, or total value locked. It can mean multiple things, such as the total value of all the tokens on a decentralized exchange, or all the value of all the tokens within a very specific liquidity pool. Or it could be the value of all the tokens that you, the liquidity provider, have in a very specific liquidity position in a pool. So it can mean a lot of different things. It's just all about the context. The next is market cap. Sometimes you'll hear this called MCAP or just MC. It's the value of all of a specific token. It's usually illustrated in US dollars and across the entire market. So it's not just a singular DEX, but the entire market. And it's important to understand market cap for many, many reasons, which we really get into more in our other course. But it can really have an impact, and volatility and price impact. All these things are correlated together. Volume is king. Volume is super important to liquidity providing. It's one of the most important things that you have to have in order to be profitable, because it's just that trading that's happening. And if there's no trading touching your liquidity, you're not making any money. You want lots of volume. The more volume, the better. And it's usually represented in certain increments of time. Generally, you'll see 1 minute, 5 minute, 1 hour, and 24 hours. So it gives you a gauge on how much trading activity is happening on a specific token within that specific amount of time. Next is volatility. And this is something that some people get confused with volume. It's basically the up and down of the price over a specific amount of time. And tokens that have big price swings, the percentage price swings may go up and down very quickly, very sharply. These large price swings, that's something that's very volatile. Okay. And the market cap comes into play with that, because the higher the market cap is, the more value there is, generally, the lower the volatility. The smaller that market cap, generally you can have a higher volatility. And that's all due to something called price impact. So a a smaller trade can have a bigger price impact on something, and therefore more volatility on a token because there's less of it than, say, something with a higher price. Um, Other key terms: slippage. So one easy way to think about slippage is when you submit a transaction and then it goes through the RPC and it goes through the validator and it goes through the blockchain and it's finalized. There can be a change in price or movement in that amount of time. Okay. And so the difference between those is slippage. There could be other things with slippage. It can be caused by really large trades. It has extreme price impact, or if there's not very much liquidity for this, it can have a very big impact on it and therefore a lot of slippage. There's a lot of different things that can cause this. And again, price impact, it's really simplest terms is the change in price caused by any given swap. Okay. So sell, the price goes down, buy, a price goes up. So if, say, something had a $1 million market cap and $100 trade is not going to have a very large price impact on it. But if, say, that token was worth $10,000, the market cap of it, a $100 trade is going to have a much greater impact on that price. Okay. So this is how that can cause the volatility and all of these things. Next, very important thing that you really must learn is contract address. You quite frequently see that it is abbreviated as just CA. It's a unique alphanumerical string that's associated with every single coin and token out there. Coins and tokens, they can have identical names, but the contract address is always unique. Okay. So it's super important then if you are providing liquidity or even just buying and selling tokens that you have the correct contract address for the tokens that you want to trade or provide liquidity with. In green here, I have some examples of legitimate contract addresses for tokens. Sol, it's got a very, maybe not quite so unique, but it's unique in the terms of contract addresses go. USDC, the MET token, some of them can have a bit of vanity to it, like the front of MET is the first ones is MET, Sol, SO1. But Scam went out there. There's a token, a USDC token that's got this contract address on it, and it's a total scam. They're trying to fake you. Same with this fake MET token. So always be sure you have the correct contract address and that you understand that before you do any type of trading or liquidity providing. Okay, so something else that a lot of people get confused on is arbitration or arbitrage. And this is a little bit higher concept, but I think it's important to cover this because it's something that can happen when there's enough price difference in liquidity pools for the same token that let me start over this with this. A token out there, because different pools can have different prices for any specific token pair. Okay. And the token, let's say token A is $5 on this liquidity pool. And then on this liquidity pool, it's $4.50. Okay. So if someone was wanting to buy the token, the best price is $4.50. So what they can do is come and buy the token at $4.50 and then immediately sell the token for $5 over here. And that difference, that's arbitration or arbitrage. And so there's a profit on that. This is partly how the market comes into sync, because as they will buy this $4.50 token, its price will come up. And as they sell it over here, this one will come down and they equal out. And a lot of times that arbitration is done by bots very quickly. They're seeing that and grabbing that. But it could happen when a liquidity pool is lacking liquidity there. Like in concentrated liquidity, in order for the price to move, there has to be liquidity for it to move through. Okay. And if there isn't, the price can get stuck. And if you come into a pool that doesn't have any liquidity for the price to move and you deposit, you will get hit with arbitration and you could lose money, and sometimes significantly. So you must be paying attention. You have to be careful and notice whenever perhaps a pool is all out of sync. You'll also see this whenever you are providing liquidity in high fee pools. If it's a 5% fee pool, if there's a 1% fee pool out there on the market, well, generally that's going to have a better price for the swapper. Okay. And this 5% pool will be out of sync with the rest of that market until the price moves enough for this to become the best price. And it could be a little bit of arbitration in there. So that's really what that is. That's what it means. And that's why it's important to understand what it is. This is about the end of this course here. I want to invite you all to continue your journey on lparmy.com. Take the full LP Academy. There is a glossary of terms critical to liquidity providing, tons of strategies, tools, our DLMN Playground, which is a way for you to test liquidity providing before you actually get into it. And also, I invite you to check out academy.jupe.ag. They've got a lot about how to be safe on chain, a lot more crypto basics, how to do swaps. They have an entire glossary as well. And they also have educational resources on many of their other applications that they produce. So that's it. That's where I would hope that you continue your journey with this, and that we will see you in the rest of the LP Academy. Thank you. Have a good one.